Welcome inside Blue Jay Stadium. We're in Bloomsburg, Columbia County, for tonight's Pennsylvania Heartland Conference Division II showdown between two undefeated teams as Montoursville takes on Central Columbia. Good evening, everyone. I'm Bob Ide. We're a week late, but we're happy you could join us here on Friday Night Rivals. Some circumstances last week out of our control, but joining us all season long, former Tuckahannock area coach Jan Cechek. And Jan, we're keeping our social distance.
Absolutely,
we're keeping our social distance, but we're so glad that you could join us, and we're so happy that we can have some high school football here on MyTV WQMY. And Jan, what a great game we're going to start our season with. Two undefeated teams, big wins last week. On paper, it looks like the game of the night.
This is going to be a great Heartland Conference. We've got two almost identical quarterbacks with stats, with touchdowns, yards. We've got two running backs that we know power both teams, that have both two touchdowns in their last game, and they both ran for over 125 yards.
Let's talk about Montoursville. Boy, they lost a lot to graduation, but they have a ton of talent back. Big win last week over Midwest. They're the two-time defending District 4 AAA champs. They look like they're on their way again to winning another district title, and they're led by our Toyota Spotlight player of the game, Rocco Polizzi.
Well, Coach Kiefer has his team going in the right direction, obviously, from his past accolades, and he doesn't settle for that. Rocco Polizzi, again, rushed for 130 yards last week, 2 touchdowns. We saw him last year against Loyalsock, and he is the guy.
That he is. Let's talk about Central Columbia. They beat Lewisburg last week. They have a great talent on that side, a lot of senior experience coming back. They're led by a running back, our other Toyota Spotlight player, and that's Troy Johnson.
Troy Johnson rushed for 112 yards last week, 2 touchdowns, and he's coming into his own. And they've got a great offensive line that started to gel last week against Lewisburg. And these guys, Coach Dennis, again, two upcoming programs that are going to be going at it tonight, Bob.
Well, we couldn't ask for more perfect weather, clear skies, little brisk fall-like evening. How will the weather play out? Let's check in now with Allie Debicki from our Fox 56 News, first at 10.
Good evening, everybody. We're here with your Friday Night Rivals forecast. I'm Chief Meteorologist Allie Debicki, and for Montoursville at Central Columbia, it's looking like a touchdown for our forecast. Kickoff at around 7:05 tonight. We'll see temperatures holding to the low to mid-50s with sunshine across the area. Cool breeze will also be possible by the end of the game, dropping to a crisp 45. Now, as we head through the overnight, we could see frost potentials moving in across the area. We'll talk more about your forecast coming up at halftime, but for now, we'll send it over to the field.
Thank you, Allie. We are all set for this Pennsylvania Heartland Conference Division II showdown. It will sound a little bit different in the stands. Hannah O'Reilly will join us shortly to talk about that. But we're all set. It's Montoursville and Central Columbia next.
Friday Night Rivals is sponsored by Allied Services, Hazleton Honda, Luzerne County Community College, Toyota, Lackawanna College, Figured Law Firm, and Wilkes-Barre Area Career and Technical Center.
We are back just outside Bloomsburg in Columbia County, getting ready for tonight's Heartland Conference Division II matchup between Montoursville and Central Columbia. Joining us all year long on Friday Night Rivals is Hannah O'Reilly. And Hannah, sounding a little bit different, it looks a whole lot different. No fans here or anything. What do you know about what they're going to do here tonight with the restrictions set up by Pennsylvania?
Well, Bob, like you mentioned earlier, both teams were only given 40 tickets each for senior parents only. Montoursville's cheer team isn't even here while Central Columbia's is, and both teams do not have their bands here tonight. But what we did learn before the game is that Central Columbia's band pre-recorded music that you're going to hear all throughout the game. So even though they're not here physically, they're going to be here in spirit. And while there's not a ton of fans here tonight, I think everyone's just excited to be back and playing the game of football. Bob, Jan, back to you guys.
Yeah, COVID-19 rules, Jan, are in effect, and you'll notice the referees will have some masks on. You're going to know some social distancing, of course, from the teams. Some of the boxes extended. There's a whole set of rules right there. When feasible, they're going to use the 2-yard line belt to the 5-yard. Again, I said social distancing. They're going to wipe down the balls a little bit more. So, as you mentioned, it just feels a lot different than what we're used to.
This is just totally bizarre for everybody going through this. And again, in the stands, the parents that are here are socially distanced from their friends. The cheering will be going on. It won't be as loud as it normally is on a Friday evening, but these kids on both sides are ready to play some ball.
There you see some of the rules. Of course, you can read them as they go across the screen. There's a ton of them. And if you've been watching any professional football and some college football, even the high school football that we saw on ESPN, you're going to notice all those things you're going to see here tonight.
Except the only thing we won't see are cardboard cutouts. We have actual real live people here tonight.
And we're live here.
And we are.
We are socially distanced.
And we are. We have our plexiglass.
Yes, we do. We are all set and we're ready to go. And boy, we could ask for a better game to start the season off. Let's talk about some of the weather. Yes, it is a beautiful night, but the wind is going left to right from the screen. And I got to tell you, the flag is going about 15 miles per hour. How will that play out in this? These two teams like to pass the ball a little bit.
They really do, but I think more importantly, Bob, it's going to be that extra point. And again, an extra point now the coaches have to think, are we going to go for 2 on our next score? And if it comes down to a tie game and it's very that fourth quarter, whoever has the wind at the back has the advantage.
One of the changes, of course, is the coin toss that took place at about 6:30. They do not do the ceremonial one before, so Montoursville won the coin toss. They deferred, so Central Columbia's offense will be on the field first.
And we get a chance to see Garrett McNellis step behind that offensive line and take control.
Johnson are back deep to receive the kickoff. Set to kick it away.
So Rainier and Johnson deep to receive this kickoff. Mason Yorty, the senior, does the kicking this year. Well, actually, it's going to be number 4 kicking off tonight. And it is actually Dylan Young. So Young does the kickoff. It is Johnson from his 6. Big hit put on right there, and here comes the Blue Jay offense, led this year by senior quarterback Garrett McNellis. Last week against Lewisburg, great numbers, 7 of 9, 106 yards through the air, a touchdown and interception.
Well, I know when we were at the scrimmage 2 weeks ago, Bob, Coach Dennis really was emphasizing for Garrett to get comfortable in that pocket and take his time and make his reads, go through the progressions.
One man in the backfield, that will be Johnson. They have a wing back to the left-hand side. Pitch to Johnson, but the defense from Dylan Bennett shoots right in, along with, looks like Ethan Lepley.
Dylan Bennett on the tackle.
For a loss for the Blue Jays.
You're going to see Dylan Bennett here to your right just do a great job reading that toss play. Last week against Midwest, that's the key, the bread and butter play that Central Columbia was running and having a lot of success with.
That was a Luzerne Community College replay. So here comes McNellis on 2nd down and call it 13. Little draw to Johnson and some positive yards. Back to the original line of scrimmage, ripped out again by Bennett. Here is the offense for Central Columbia. Put up 28 points last week, 270 total yards. We talked about McNellis, we talked about Johnson. Isaac Kester is the fullback. He had 4 yards last week. Receivers, very talented. Eli Morrison is on the outside, along with Smith and Garrett Carter, the big tight end. Up front, they're pretty big. 4 seniors across the front, just 1 junior. That's Jake Moyer at center. So on 3rd down, the quarterback's in the shotgun. 5-man rush. Just a little bit outside, trying to hit Zach Smith coming across to the outside. And the Blue Jays are forced to punt.
And that'll bring up a 4th down and 9 for the Blue Jays and a punting situation.
We saw in that last play that, again, Garrett just got to settle down a little bit. Again, the first series is always going to be rough. Threw that a little bit to the outside. And the defense of the Warriors was really looking really good up there, the front 4.
Garrett Carter set the punt away.
So Garrett Carter will do the punting. Low snap. Off the side of his foot, and the Warriors excellent field position. That's an 8-yard, let's say 7-yard punt. That's a Big mistake, and now we'll see the big quarterback from Montoursville, the Warriors. Maddox Delana, 6'2", 245, strong arm kid last week, some nice numbers, 2 touchdowns and an interception.
Well, Maddox last week, he had a very good opening game. He's also a baseball prospect, probably going to be going to college on a scholarship. So he's got a good control of this offense. From last year, we are known, Coach Kiefer likes to switch his quarterbacks in and out so they all get the repetition.
He replaces Hunter Shear, but as you said, he does have an experience. They'll start in the I. Tight end to the left-hand side. Palizzi. Signor leading the way, some positive yardage. Still going. Picks up 8 on the first down.
20-yard line, tackled there by a host of Blue Jays.
Montoursville did a nice job with that toss play. They had the nice scoop blocks up front. The outside receivers came down, sealed off that 3-3-5 that Central Columbia has implemented in their second year.
Inside the Allied Services red zone for the first time are the Warriors. Blue Jays showing the blitz off their 3-5 defense. Palizzi with a running room. Palizzi for a figure law first down up inside the 15.
You're going to see Montoursville doing what they do best. They just like to run the ball down your throat. ISO play, fullback leading up through, and Palizzi just looking and saying thank you very much to his fullback for that great block to spring him for that first down.
Rayner in the secondary with the stop. So Montoursville with an opportunity to take the early lead. Number 6 again with another big hole towards the end zone.
Palizzi again on the carry.
It's going to be a figure law first down to the 2.
Again, coaches will always stay with what's working. Against this 3-3-5, you can see that the fullback does a nice job picking up that outside linebacker coming up the fill, but with the talent like Palizzi in there, he's going to find the opening and make yardage.
3 carries, 25 yards for Palizzi. It's been all on the ground for the Warriors. It's working early on. Off the short kick from the Blue Jays. Montoursville knocking on the door. Straight back. Palizzi. Nope, that's Dylan Bennett off the Wildcat, and it is a Blaze Alexander Family Dealerships touchdown for Montoursville.
That was just power football up front. The offensive line was putting their will against the defensive front of Central Columbia. You'll see this right there. They just go with the Wildcat, not expecting it. That offensive line, great surge, great leverage, and he was able to get that in there for that touchdown.
Kick is up and good from Dylan Young, and the Warriors here in Bloomsburg take the early lead 7-0 on a 27-yard drive. Can Central Columbia get back? We'll find out after this.
Imagine getting a nurse's aid scholarship and tuition assistance while getting paid as a CNA. Allied Services has excellent career opportunities for RNs, LPNs, and CNAs. Visit allied-services.org/careers today.
Well, you get a short field, you take advantage of it. The Warriors did. 4 plays, 27 yards. Palizzi with 25 of them. And then Bennett on the Wildcat takes it in for 2 yards, and that's where we're at, 7-0.
That punt did not help. We always talk about field position, and you always want to try to pin your opponent in. And that time, Central Columbia didn't help themselves with a bad punt into the wind.
So it's another Lackawanna College kickoff for the Warriors. This one's a little shorter, and looks like it will go right out of bounds. So the Blue Jays will start up at the 35-yard line, and now check out
having the re-kick.
Here's we'll take a look at Montoursville's defense in a second. As Central Columbia has the ball, and you can hear the wind just kicking through some of the microphones.
Blue Jays take over 1st and 10 at their own 35-yard line after accepting a penalty.
So Figure Law first down. McNellis and company bring it up. Good field position. Not much success on their last drive. 3 and out. Moving up front, our first flag of the game.
Flag on the field.
Bob, the Montoursville defensive line.
Rider snap, encroachment, defense, number 87, 5-yard penalty from the spot from the previous spot, first down.
There's the referees tonight of District 4. Kerry Latza is the white hat who we just heard from. 5 yards for Central. That will help. So some movement from Montoursville. Johnson trying to find any room they can, but again, the Warriors there, they stand it up. Signal around the tackle, but really Bennett on the outside started that. He held the fullback up, and whoever was blocking him.
He just stood him up, and he actually, what we do as a coach, we tell him when you stand up an offensive player, you want to get your arms like steel bars, get that extension, so then you can shed him and then make the tackle. But he had assistance from number 47 on that and stopped him cold right in his tracks.
Well, Montoursville's defense had their way with Midwest last week, just 104 total yards.
Well, that front four has experience from last year and led by Zach Schmalhofer.
McNellis, 2 high throws right off the bat. 6'5" kid. He's got to bring it down a little bit. We'll talk about that in a second. Let's take a look at the Hazleton Honda now starting lineup on defense for the Warriors. There's the 4 guys up front. Watch out for that kid, Zach Schmalhofer. Boy, he's got a great name, and he plays awesome defense. Last week, 6 tackles, 2 for a loss, and a sack. Linebackers very active. We saw Bennett already in the backfield. Signor and Jones in there also as well. In the secondary, FNR last week with an interception. 2 interceptions for number 4, Dylan Young, last week. So on 3rd down, McNellis tries to take off, but he's taken down for a sack, the first one of the game. And there it is, Mr. Schmalhofer, if you don't mind.
I know Coach Kiefer doesn't mind that at all. There was no pressure, there was nowhere for him to throw. There was a coverage sack by that secondary covering that offensive receivers like a blanket, and the defensive line, again, putting that pressure on, maintaining gap responsibility, and allowing Garrett McNellis nowhere to run.
Hear your colors, Central, blue, silver, and white. Let's hear your colors, Central, blue, silver, and white.
So Yordi now into punt. A much better kick this time. Into Montoursville territory. It takes a nice bounce, and the Warriors will take over. Still decent field position at their own 37-yard line. Now here are the 2 coaches tonight. Scott Dennis from the Blue Jays, 5th season. On the right-hand side, J.C. Kiefer. Great success, 10th season. He's on the left-hand side. Montoursville, of course, 2-time District 4 3A champs. The Warriors, Scott Dennis building a program here, trying to get them into some kind of title contention. The problem with them, they're AA. Guess who else is in AA in District 4? Ever heard of them?
The Southern Columbia All-Star team, I believe. Yeah, just
south of here. Defending champs, and looks like has another good team. The end around bobbled a little bit.
On the carry.
Dylan Mull.
Yeah, he didn't get the handoff quite how he wanted. Positive yards, but that could have been a disaster for the Warriors.
2nd down and 9.
With Central Columbia playing that 3-3-5, when they tried to do that speed sweep or they tried to do an end around like you'll see right here, those outside whips and tiger backs or whatever the terminology they're using really are sitting there. They're taught to get, and they just get there, hop, step, and read.
Outside, Johnson almost got to the quarterback, and off the tip, Moll almost pulled it in. But Maddox was lucky to get that one away as number 25 was right in his face.
He did a tremendous job with that pressure right in there, and they almost had this at the reception. Number 2, Dylan, this was a great effort. Ball's tipped, and watch him lay out for it. Oh!
Austin Rayner, the junior, with very good coverage on that for the Blue Jays. Now it's a 3rd and long. This is where the Jays will need to stop the Warriors.
And this will be actually key for them right now. Just they're settled down. The defense knows now what to expect. They know the cadence. They know who his favorite target's going to be.
Tried to get it to the outside, went down to his third read. Gets it out to Young, and Young easily steps over for a figure law first down. Right at that line, the gain, and it will be moving the chains for the Warriors. Great look from Delana to look through all of his options.
Maddox Delana just did a coach's highlight film on how to go check down your progressions. 1, 2, 3, and he's looking and he just dumps it off. Again, most offenses have 3 receivers. Your third one is usually your safety valve, and Maddox did a great job getting that ball to him.
3-man rush. Oh, they get to him behind the line of scrimmage. They read that perfectly. That's number 64, Carter Crawford, who got FNR for a 7-yard loss.
Carter Crawford, 6 foot 245, does a tremendous job as that nose guard coming into that A gap and just coming right across. He didn't over pursue and he just shut that speed sweep down.
Talking about the Montoursville line of scrimmage, yes, we didn't do their lineup yet, but they do have 4 seniors, but they're 4 brand new seniors on the line. They're not experienced.
Not as experienced as you would think, but they have that thing called size, or what the coaches would say the eye test, where you see 6'3", 225, 250 pounds, you know they can do something.
A little pitch and catch to the outside to Young again, back to the original line of scrimmage, 3rd and long on the way.
That was great coverage by Central Columbia's defensive backs there. They knew that they were going to just give up the short one and make sure they have great tackling so nothing else happens.
Another 3rd down that the Blue Jays need to stop the Warriors, get off the field, get that offense the ball. They trail 7-0 here in the first quarter. Bye-bye, Dion Sechak. Friday Night Rivals presented by Allied Services and Hazleton Honda. Delana, plenty of time. That strong arm. No one was really open. Great coverage by Central Columbia. Montoursville now will have to punt it away.
Maddox Delana, again, giving a coach's clinic back there. Watch his feet right there. Sets, looks, checks, and he didn't throw off his back foot. It was a beautiful ball, just a little bit overthrown. But great coverage by Central Columbia.
Central's defense last week did play very well against the pass, just 46 yards for the Dragons. So Delana, off the side of his foot, almost got blocked. Maybe Crawford got a hand on it, but it takes a Central bounce, and they'll have excellent field position at their own 46-yard line.
If you notice, 64 on that, he was surprised. Carter Crawford was surprised that he was able to come in pretty much untouched, and he was just like, wait a second, I'm not being blocked. And then he pulled up at the last minute, so he didn't get that roughing the punter. Kind of how, this is how we got that flip going right now. So hopefully Central Columbia can parlay this into a touchdown.
So the tall QB surveys. Johnson off the quick pitch. Best run of the night for the senior. Give him 12 up into Warrior territory.
Nice job by Central Columbia's offensive line. You're going to see them, they step to their left, quick pitch, and Johnson, again, nice move right there. Good stiff arm, and he just keeps those legs moving. Looked like Jim Brown there, lowering his shoulder and punishing that defensive back.
If you're looking at the rosters, Central Columbia has a bigger line than Montoursville.
But the edge, I think, from the success that Montoursville has had, they know that they're going to be pretty solid up front.
Central's going to need that size, and that way they couldn't get that one. Great job by Gavin Livermore, the senior, to shoot in off the gap.
You'll see this, they just go with that inside zone look. And again, the defensive line, they're penetrating their gaps, and there's no room for the running back, Johnson, to run.
Montoursville may be a little quicker on that line. Might not have the size, but they have quickness off the ball.
You can't coach speed,
Nope.
That's for sure, Bob.
Well,
you know that from lacrosse?
Absolutely. Let's see what Central can do on 2nd down. Montoursville blitzing from the outside. McNellis, nice job to get away from the pressure. Finds Smith. And Smith makes a positive play out of that. 2 yards short of a first down.
Garrett McNellis heads up play. You'll see him go through his progressions. Now he's getting pressure. He rolls to his right, and again, he's a southpaw trying to throw, and that's an extremely tough throw for a lefty going right.
Once he cleared out of there, you knew he had advantage in the secondary because you have a lot of guys blitzing. Somebody had to be open, and he found him.
And he, again, found that check down, the check valve, as they call it, and he just dumped it off. Now they have third and manageable.
Yeah, you talk about third down on defense for the Blue Jays. Now it's an offensive. They need to convert this. If they want to stay close to Montoursville. They trail early, 7-0. We're in the first quarter. Johnson going nowhere. The Schmalhofer, nope, that's number 74 who shoots in Lane Stutzman.
Now, on that play, if we see the replay on that, you're going to see Central Columbia has a great offensive line surge, but they didn't account for one person, and that guy, the second level, is the one that stopped that play.
Scott Dennis, he'll go for it. They'll bring the play in on fourth down at about 3. Calling it a long 2, I guess. It is. Oh, the Wildcat, and the snap goes awry. And Montoursville stops Central Columbia on fourth down.
And the Warriors will take over 1st and 10 in Blue Jay territory.
Eli Morrison was taking the Wildcat. The ball just didn't get to him, Coach.
He just didn't secure it, and it was just a bad, I don't want to say a bad snap, but it just went up. Again, sometimes when you're trying to trick play like that, you get a little bit antsy. You start to leave before you secure the ball. But a heads-up play by Morrison to cover that ball up so that they didn't get any more yardage.
So Montoursville back in. They have good field position. Now inside Central territory, once again, starting at their own 44. To me, it looks like Central's offside.
Just a little bit.
I think might have heard Delana do a hard count on that.
The camera work is outstanding.
Snap. Encroachment, defense, number 54. First down.
From up top, that gives you all the spectators and fans at home a chance to really look what that 3-3 stack looks like and what they can do. There's so many combinations that they can blitz. They can do 3-man, 4-man, 5-man, 6-man types of pressures. And again, that falls on the secondary to make sure that they can lock them down.
Tight formation now for the Warriors. Inside the Polizzi, but nice job by the outstanding defensive end, Garrett Carter. Shoots in. Here's W&L. Keys to the game. First for the Warriors, Coach.
Inexperienced line. I'm not sure about that with that offense. Again, they spend a lot of time in the weight room getting it done and keeping contained with the quarterback in the pocket. They want to make sure that Garrett McNellis stays in there because they know their pressure is going to get to him.
Better run by Polizzi this time. He's inside the secondary up for a figure law first down to the 26-yard line.
Assisted by Garrett Carter. He takes it down to the 26-yard line, 1st and 10 for Montoursville.
You'll see this right again. This is just they bring number 74. They pull the left guard around, pull him up on what they call the G. And Rocco Polizzi says thank you to number 74, Lane Stutzman, for that. And he's got 15 yards on that.
1,100 yards for Polizzi last year. Maddox to the air. Oh, big hit in the secondary. Nice job by FNR to hold on.
The lead is pass complete to number 1.
As a hard hit by Tristan Douglas all the way down at the 6. That's a figure law first down.
Watch as the receiver right here, he comes right into the center of your screen. He throttles down. He went right in between the two receivers to make that reception. And number 24, Tristan Douglas, who stepped in tonight for the injured Dylan Devlin, does a nice job with that hit.
Montoursville once again in the Allied Services red zone, knocking on the door, already up 7-0 here just in the first quarter. Polizzi picks up his blocks inside the 10.
Rocco Polizzi on the carry, tackled there by number 54, Logan McWilliams.
Hunter Hanna, number 71, their center, slow to get up. On that play, you'll see that anybody that's covered, they was pulling, which is kind of counterintuitive, but the offensive guard, the right guard, steps down, allows the center now to pull, and you're getting two big offensive linemen coming down there to get Rocco some yardage. But Central Columbia did a great job shutting that down.
McMillan-Williams on the tackle, J.C. Kiefer's team trying to extend their lead. Inside the Allied Services red zone. This is Palizzi waiting for his blocks. He gets them and he shoots and he will be in. It's a Blaze Alexander Family Dealerships touchdown for Montoursville and Rocco Palizzi.
On this play, you'll see that Rocco is just stretching this out, the offensive line. Everybody steps left. We don't have the secondary coverage. If the corner would have come up and shut that down, that might have made it a little bit tougher for Rocco to get in there.
So 12 seconds left in the first quarter. The Warriors trying to add on with the extra point. Dylan Young in with Delina, the holder.
Dylan Young on to attempt the extra point out of the hold of number 7, Maddox Delina.
That kick is up and it is good. So the 5-play, 44-yard drive gives Montoursville the 14-0 lead, and right now they've owned this first quarter. Two short drives from Montoursville, and that's where we stand right now.
Getting there.
Yes, we're getting there.
We're there.
Go ahead.
Winter weather is coming, so act now and get up to 10% off plus 0% for 63 months on all remaining 2020 Subaru models at W&L Subaru. Go to WNLSubaru.com or come see us. Experience the W&L difference. Bob, you said that first quarter, and again, Montoursville owned it. Central Columbia, this is where the difference between an experienced program and an upcoming program, we got to see how they respond.
What do you like about this run?
That he just is so patient. Rocco just let that string out. He knew that the 12th defender, the sideline, was there, but he just was very patient, and the way they ran that ball, and then he just punched it in.
Well, Montoursville's taken advantage of two short fields, and they'll tee it up again for a Lackawanna College kickoff from Young. Last one went out of bounds. This one a little squibbler. Secured by one of the upmen at the 26-yard line.
Down there by Lincoln Huber at the 26-yard
So our
line.
W&L keys to the game for the Blue Jays.
I think we can attribute the first quarter to that. What Coach wanted not to do was give up the big game nerves. Special teams, the low snaps, the shank punt. Coach Dennis knows his team.
It's been the Blue Jay mistakes that have helped Montoursville, and that's in a big game. You can't make mistakes.
No, not with a team of the caliber that the Warriors have over there. These guys, they've been down this road before, so they're going to be cool, calm, and collected.
So Coach Dennis wants to see something out of his offense. Not much there. They go to the passing game and just out of the hands of Zach Smith. Manella's not quite on so far tonight.
Number 80, Ethan Lefley.
Again, this is a great challenge for McNellis to have this type of defense, this type of game, this atmosphere. He's just got to get that short, quick completion, and he's going to settle down, and then we're going to have ourselves a great game.
He has one completion. He's about 1 for 5 right now, as you saw the numbers for Scott Dennis, former Holy Redeemer coach, but has really built a program here in Central Columbia.
We talk about mindset all the time, and are the kids buying into what you're preaching, and they really have down here.
Trying to set up a screen or something. Johnson had it and couldn't secure it.
For Troy Johnson.
Goes incomplete.
Brings up a 3rd down and 10.
You end up getting what we call in coaching a jailbreak. You'll see it right here. Garrett's looking, checking. There's pressure coming, and he just smartly throws it away. And Troy, again, it was a little bit behind him, and he's trying to reach back to get that. Really didn't have his body in great position.
Cheerleaders in the house tonight. The band is not. Just some senior parents on both sides, so not much crowd noise. You're hearing a lot from the field as you might expect. It's senior night here for the football team and the cheerleaders, and boy, they like to see something more from their Blue Jays. Big rush over the middle into triple coverage and almost intercepted by Isaiah FNR, and that's how the first quarter will end. It's been all Warriors on the road tonight in this Heartland Conference showdown.
Garrett McNellis it looked like the ball got hit. It obviously did because the way it was wobbling. But again, to go into triple coverage, that's tough.
That's the end of the first quarter. The score, Montoursville 14, Central Columbia nothing.
Honestly, it didn't impact service. We did not miss the day of service. Our individuals came forward every single day, continued by our team. Thank you.
Maddox Delena's pass complete to number 4, Dylan Young, for the Montoursville touchdown.
So Maddox Delena puts it up, and Dylan Young hauls it in, a 60-yard touchdown through the air for a Blaise Alexander Family Dealership touchdown for the Warriors.
That was a tremendous throw, and what was even more impressive was Dylan Young's determination at the end to stretch out and get that touchdown. Lots of air under that ball, perfectly placed. Good breakaway, run to the outside, get away from your defender. Nice, he reaches it out there for that score.
He got behind Gillespie, and Gillespie couldn't catch up. So they're going to go for 2 off the fake. Delena in, and it is a score. Lepley pulls it in for Montoursville, and that's suddenly it's 22-0.
We talked about earlier, Bob, about the wind blowing here, and again, Coach Kiefer said, let's try some trickery, and it worked, and now it's going to be a lot more pressure on the Blue Jays.
Well, it looks like Montoursville is for real, and here's the 2-point conversion.
This was called all the way. Again, not to expect it, and again, great job by the Warriors to call that, and very successful play.
I think what you're seeing right now, Coach, maybe some inexperience from the Blue Jays in big games. Montoursville, of course, has that ton of experience in the postseason for the last 2 years, even some of these kids. And I think that's playing out right now.
It is, and again, the pressure that the kids... Here's the touchdown pass again, you'll see. Look at that, great placement. Receiver does a nice job cutting to the inside, runs it back to the outside. And watch this, boom.
A huge advantage in offense and for both teams. Central Columbia, I have them at -4 yards of total offense in that first quarter. I'll have to add up Montoursville, but definitely way out in front as they had a couple of short drives, did the Warriors, plus that 60 yards. And this game is definitely tilted way on the side of the Warriors.
Bob, to finish the thought that we had started before, that the pressure these kids from Central Columbia are putting on themselves. I know the coaches, they want to be successful. They instilled it in the kids all week. They had the confidence, but when you have a mature team that is coming off all the success they've had, these kids are more relaxed from Montoursville.
Johnson from his 14 puts his head down, and he's going to get up to near the 25, and that's where now the Blue Jays need to come on and do anything. And one more time with this long pass.
On the play made by number 36.
I just love that one-handed catch over the shoulder, looks it in. And again, Gillespie didn't give up. He stayed right with him, got back on his hip, and pulled him down. but it was just a great effort to get that ball in there.
Remember, Delaney's replacing Hunter Shear, who had 1,500 yards through the year and a successful couple of years at the starting quarterback position for Montoursville. So here's McNellis again. Can't find anyone. Tries to get out and is actually going to about lose a yard.
For a loss on the play.
So that would be considered a sack.
36.
Look at the secondary
Jones.
coverage of Montoursville here. They have him covered down tighter than a drum. He's rolling. There's nothing there. Again, two Montoursville Warriors in his face. And he does a nice job with his ball security, going from right hand to left hand, but unfortunately he gets dropped for a loss.
Heath Jones with the tackle.
Central Columbia just has to get their first down. That'll help their confidence, and they'll just build from there.
Try to set up a screen to Smith. He has some outside help
McNellis' pass
up
will
past
take
the
Zach
30,
Smith.
and it'll be third down on the way.
Takes it out to about the 32-yard line.
Well, we look at this right now. The offensive line on this one do a nice job. They do that split screen. They swing up to the top of it, and they drop number 11 in there. The problem was that we had two Central Columbia guys blocking one guy. That allowed the secondary, the defender, to come in and make that tackle.
You're going to watch that on film, and you're going to obviously notice that on Monday.
Coach is going to go over that and emphasize that probably tomorrow at their meeting.
Well, I think the Blue Jays just need to get a first down.
That's
Get
it.
something rolling here. Well, they're not going to do it off that as the left guard moves, and that will cost the Blue Jays 5.
Prior to snap, false start, offense number 64 remains third down.
So you go from 3rd and 2 to 3rd and 7, a much different play call now.
If you can get that, and again, we know Troy Johnson can run the ball, and again, a 2-yard, you get that great offensive line surge. If they stay low, they got a first down. But now the play call is different. You saw Garrett McNellis come over, talk to the offensive coordinator, say, okay, now what are we going to do?
Well, let's see if number 3 tries to run the ball. He ran it last week very successfully for 43 yards on 7 carries. He hasn't been able to get through that line tonight. Delay of game? Nope. False start or delay of game. That's usually back
Penalty
judge.
flag on the field.
Prior to snap, delay of game.
Yep.
Delayed game
Offense
for the Blue Jays.
remains third down.
Third down and 12.
As you can see, Bob, they're not helping their cause.
No.
Two back-to-back plays now. We went from 3rd and 2 to 3rd and 12.
Yeah, now they're making the hard play, the easy plays look hard.
And we just have, again, Central Columbia, they were right there. Now if they get this first down, they're going to feel pretty good, and they're just going to have to keep it rolling.
Time to throw out to the flat and can't reach Morrison.
McNellis' pass
On the little out route.
Eli Morrison
Would have been a first down, but
brings up a
instead,
4th
here
down
comes the
12
punt
For
team.
the Jays.
Again, the 4-3 of the Warriors does a nice job. Their secondary coverage, but he did get open, and McNellis did have time that time. They didn't put as much pressure on. They didn't bring a linebacker. They just ended up letting the front four do what they do, and it allowed their linebackers and secondary to
Mason
get to
Doherty
their
sets the punt
drops.
it away. Back deep for Montoursville. Number 2, Dylan Moe. Number 4, Dylan Young.
So Yordi back to punt. Better snap this time. High kick, fair catch at the 48-yard line.
Dylan Moe. Montoursville takes over 1st and 10 right there.
Friday Night Rivals is sponsored by Hazleton Honda. We are the newest Honda dealer in Pennsylvania, selling and servicing new and used Hondas. Visit us or shop our inventory online today. Your dream Honda is waiting at Hazleton Honda.
So the Warriors have a figured law first down right at their own 48-yard line. So excellent field position again, just 52 yards towards a touchdown. And the Warriors have taken advantage of this each time. Already up by 22. Good defense there on
Polizzi
Polizzi.
takes it up the middle.
Flag comes in, but that was very nice
Penalty
job.
flag on the field.
Crawford on the tackle. Let's see what the
Taken
flag
down there
goes
by
for.
Carter Crawford,
Holding.
assisted by Jake Moyer.
So that will cost the Warriors some field position.
You'll see right there, the defensive line, that time they stood the Warriors up and maintained their
Penalty
gap
to hold against
responsibility,
Montoursville.
allowed the linebackers to flow in there and stop that run.
You talked about it before. Central runs that 3 lineman, 5 linebacker set.
Right, the 3-3 stack, because they're going to keep the Mike linebacker, Sam and Will, which is what we would call those 3 linebackers stacked in back of the nose and the 2 ends. And the 2 outside guys, Rover and Whips, they're the ones that bring that outside pressure. Sometimes they roll up onto the line of scrimmage. So you don't know what you're quite going to get.
2 wings for Montoursville. Delaying it to the outside on the in route and in and out of the hands of Young.
Incomplete. Intended for Dylan Young, defended there by number 5, Logan Gillespie. Bringing up a 2nd down and 10 for the Warriors.
That's a tough play to defend right there. Anytime you start running that post pattern inside, when the secondary coverage is that far off, you have that separation, and again, that's got to be caught, and you know Coach Kiefer right now is going to talk to him.
Is that play set up for, you know you're going to get one-on-one coverage on the outside?
Yeah, you'll notice if you watch number 5 and number 13, where they line up, that's going to tell somebody like Maddox Delina, who has some experience. You look right now, 8 yards deep. If they run a quick hitch, they run the slant patterns, they're going to fall into that dead zone.
So the big QB takes it himself up inside, past the 40, give him about 4 yards with 3rd and long on the way.
Central Columbia's defense is doing a nice job right now. They've got 2nd and long. They know they're going to probably try to dink them with a short one, so they're going to give that up, but they have that confidence in their tackling.
Montoursville last year, of course, losing to Wyoming area in the state playoffs. Wyoming area, of course, going on to win their state championship. But kind of a disappointing year because I know Montoursville thought and knew they were better, but they just didn't get over that hump that they tried to over the last 2 years after district championships. They haven't made that run into states yet. Maybe this is the team, if we have states. That one's fluttering.
Delina's pass incomplete.
Delina hit and getting up very slow.
Defended out there by Troy Johnson.
You'll see that they, again, you know there's going to be 3 guys coming on pressure. Again, what did Coach dial up for this one? We'll see in a second on the instant replay. Great pressure in there, and again, ball gets smashed on the way out, so he couldn't get a clean ball, and it was almost picked by Central Columbia.
So Delano will stay in to punt. Whatever happened, he shook that off pretty quick. You see he's getting his breath.
A lot of these kids on both teams are going both ways, Rob.
Not a bad fluttering kick. Smith pulls it in at the 30-yard line.
Blue Jays will take over 1st and 10 from their own 30-yard line.
For more than a century, Lackawanna College has been changing lives. Now you can earn a bachelor's degree from a respected school close to home with the most affordable tuition in the region. Apply today at lackawanna.edu. New classes start October 22nd.
We're in Columbia County. It's a Pennsylvania Heartland Conference Division II matchup between the Warriors and the Blue Jays. Bob Ide and Jan Cechak. Glad you could join us for Allied Services Friday Night Rivals, presented by Hazelton Honda. On paper, it looked pretty good, but the Warriors came out in the first quarter and put up some big numbers. They took an early lead as McNellis finds Morrison for about 7 yards. And it's been the Blue Jays who've been trying to catch up and get anything going the rest of the way.
Well, I'll tell you, Bob, that last defensive stance really might have sparked them. They'll go with the fake in here with the zone. McNellis rolling, does a nice job, gets a ball perfectly placed. Now they've got 2nd and 3.
Well, the one thing with Central Columbia is they lost their big receiver. So who was going to be the go-to guy for McNellis? You would think it's Eli Morrison, but they have a big tight end in Garrett Carter, and we saw Zach Smith already with a couple of catches.
Well, I think, again, they may be waiting to start calling on Garrett Carter there, the big tight end, Bob, like you said. But, you know, when you're down 22-0, you can't keep waiting.
I think McNellis is going to pull it in. No, he flips it out over the head of Smith and brings up 3rd down.
Bring up a third down.
Didn't know if he was going to take off with that.
He again, and that always puts what we call in coaching, you're putting a kid on an island. Do I commit? Don't I commit? And you'll see Garrett, that's pretty smart. He's coming out, looking, pump fakes, and then he does throw the ball away, so he doesn't take a sack.
Well, his Montoursville defense last week against Midwest, 4 interceptions. Did have 2 fumble recoveries, only gave up 6 points in the game, and as I mentioned, 104 total yards of offense in that game, and they've just about the same right here in the first half. So far, nothing going the way of the Blue Jays. No points at all. Big third down. They set it up to Smith, but awesome defense in there, getting over.
Zach Smith, tackled short of the first down.
Heath
It
Jones.
looks like Heath Jones. I was going to say, couldn't see the number. 36, the junior, pulls it in, and here comes the punt team again.
That 4-3 defense is really, really starting to stymie this Central Columbia. It was a good play, but again, great tackling, great job by getting to your zone and making the reads and making a great tackle.
They haven't been able to get the ball down the field yet and on any long passes.
I don't think they had a first down. I don't believe they have. Central Columbia.
You know what? I don't know. I don't know. They have not. That's a very good point. They've come close. Yordi, nice high kick. Best kick of the night for either team. And Young pulls it inside the 25-yard line. And Coach, let's go back to that. Yeah, I don't see a first down here on my sheet anywhere for the Blue Jays.
And that's key to this. Again, we kept saying all they have to do is get 1 first down, and they'll keep building on that. Now we're there. This is the deepest that Montoursville is going to have to go now.
I have them for 1 first down.
Do you have?
Yep.
Okay. I stand corrected, Central Columbia.
Okay, now that defense has to come up big again. Montoursville love to put a long drive here with 8:03 left in the first half. Good block by Signor. Palizzi to the outside. First time he's been down the track he goes. Palizzi inside Blue Jay territory and a huge gain for the junior running back all the way to the 26-yard line.
Logan Gillespie coming from the left cornerback position, coming across the field, good angle pursuit to bring Palizzi down. There was nobody there. You see a great job on their offensive line, stepping. The receivers come down, seal it down for Rocco to have that kind of success.
52-yard gain for Rocco, and Montoursville again inside Blue Jay territory. Great step by Maul, and off the big-time fake.
Touchdown.
Maul takes it in for a Blaze Alexander Family Dealerships touchdown, number 2.
This play is tremendous. Maul right here, he just explodes into that line. Again, isolation play. Fullback hits the linebacker, allows the tailback to pick his hole. How fast he hit that hole, though, really caused some fits for Central Columbia.
Talk about a high-powered offense. 2 plays, 77-yard drive, both on the ground. Watch out, Pennsylvania Heartland Conference in District 4. Montoursville is still the team to beat. The extra point is good, and they've extended their lead with 7:27 left in the half to 29-0.
Welcome back to Blue Jays Stadium. We are here as Central Columbia takes on Montoursville. I am joined by senior parent Sean Devlin. Sean, how excited was your son to be playing this season?
Oh, he lives for it. The whole team does. They practice really hard over the summer and put a lot of time and effort in, and it's just nice to see the boys out here playing again.
Now, a lot of parents have mixed feelings on whether or not sports should even be going on. Do you agree that football should be playing right now?
Sure. I'm a firm believer in the work ethic that they put in now serves them in life just as much as what they learn inside the classroom.
Now, a lot of these kids, they missed a big chunk of last semester and they've been home all summer. How important is it that sports are back and these kids are out playing with each other once again?
Same, these guys have been playing since they've been 8. It's the ultimate team sport. It's really is a brotherhood for them, and they've put a lot of work and effort in, and I'm just glad that they were able to have this season.
Well, thanks so much for joining us, and good luck to your son for the rest of the season.
Thanks a lot.
Bob, Jan, back to you guys.
Thank you, Mr. Devlin. And, of course, his son Dylan banged up, out a couple more weeks. Not able to play tonight, but thanks for joining us. Off the Lackawanna College kickoff, Blue Jays pull it in, and that was Huber. Lincoln Huber pulls it up, and Blue Jays now down 29-0, have it at 35.
Well, Coach Dennis, again, he's been down this road before, unfortunately, as most coaches have, where you're down. You just want your kids just to play their best. Now they know that all they've got to do is they got to chip away at it just piece by piece. And we've seen some great games in the past where teams have been down and everybody would count them out and they come back and they beat the team. So let's hope that Central Columbia gets his first down and keeps it going.
Eric McNellis on the keeper.
Off the read option, McNellis' first keeper of the night goes up for about a yard.
That was a really nice fake there by Johnson in there. Really nice job. He snapped his shoulders over his arms so that you couldn't tell if he had the ball in there. And again, Garrett McNellis does a nice job pulling that. Again, now they've got positive right now. They've got 2 yards. Now let's just keep getting it.
Gavin Livermore tripped up McNellis for Montoursville. Underneath the center for McNellis. The flip to Johnson. Johnson with the first down and more.
There we go.
Stiff arm and a lot of Warriors on the way for the figure long first down. Call that about 15 yards for Troy Johnson.
Ball spotted right at the 50-yard line, and that's enough.
Well, you'll see on this play, Heath Jones comes screaming up from the will linebacker position, over pursues, and Johnson, again, we know he's a good running back. There you go. Great presence, great patience there to get that extra yards, and they got their first down in the second quarter.
One thing you'll notice, a lot of these players out here for both sides are actually wrestlers, and they're both very good wrestling teams. So you're going to see some wrestling moves here and there, and Johnson was just trying to wrestle down whatever defender got in front of him. Little shovel pass to Smith. Let's see if they call him down or they're going to say it's a fumble. It's a fumble, and it's recovered by Montoursville.
Boy, I'll tell you, that's going to break their backs right now because they have things going. Again, here we go. Shovel pass, great call. They had great blocking, good holes. And again, you can see that they worked that ball out right there. I'm trying to get the number. 52 does a nice job. Livermore goes in there. You can see he had a wrap. His offhand, he came in there and he pulled that ball out. Nice job defensively. That's
there it is again, Coach. Let's see who caused the fumble.
52.
Yep.
He comes in there again.
Jones.
We end up as coaches, you work that strip drill, you'll do a punch drill, you do different types of drills to get that ball out, and there was the benefit of doing that drill.
First turnover of the night for either team. Here come the Warriors back on offense. Palizzi. Couple big hits in there. Gain about 3.
Good gang tackling. You can see, again, Central Columbia is starting to get the initial hit, but the problem is the second level. The offensive line of Montoursville's just chipping the linebackers so that they can't get to the play and make that tackle.
Impressed by this offensive line. Maybe outweighed up front, but their technique and their strength is unmatched.
For their inexperience, they're looking pretty experienced right now.
Maddox flips it, it goes incomplete.
Linda's pass incomplete, and there's a late flag on the play.
I don't know if Johnson's going to get hit with a late hit on Signer. Signer, excuse me.
Well, it's good to see. I wasn't sure.
Yeah, we're going 15. After the play was over, personal foul.
I would believe it was against Johnson. Let's see it again.
So let's see this
again.
again. He's rolling, flips it out. It was behind him.
Right there.
I was worried they were going to call helmet to helmet, but he did. He had his shoulder there, so it was.
But it was late, and it was
late.
a defenseless receiver.
And the ball was
Yep.
it was already incomplete. Again, it's tough because you sit there, you're playing a very physical, violent game, and you don't want your kids to be passive, but you also, the officials are here for the kids' safety.
So this keeps the Montoursville drive going, already up big. Polizzi just following his blocking, big hole. Give him 10.
If you look right there, you'll see number 74, Lane Stutzman, was downfield 9 yards. So that means he's getting to the second level. He's taking a step down, and number 63 or 66, Jeremiah Caseman, again, those guys are getting that second level. That's why they're getting all that success up there.
Well, we've seen through the air, big pass from Delaney, and we saw it on that one drive, 2 plays, 77 yards, both on the ground. Montoursville, dual threat offense, is in midseason form already, and we're only in the second game of this shortened season. Delaney, take it away. Dylan Young
Delaney's pass complete to
over
number 4,
Gillespie.
Montoursville touchdown.
Maddox Delina had pressure from Isaac Kester right in his face, throws a perfect ball, and the Central Columbia defensive back was in great position for the pick, and he reaches right over and stole it from him.
How about this Blaze Alexander Family Dealerships touchdown?
Incredible. That's, again, there's a chemistry on the Montoursville team. The confidence that Maddox Delina has in himself now, and the offensive line and his receivers, you can see how well this team is gelled in a short amount of time.
How about 3 plays, 55 yards? How about some more points for Dylan Young? He's leading the points tonight for Montoursville because he's doing the kicking as well.
He is. So he's, you always want to try to be on the field as much as you can, and he's contributing to the success of the Warriors.
That might be the catch of the year already. Well, let's talk about this season. Of course, all the drama in the offseason. Will they play? Won't they play? They're here. We're playing. They're playing a shortened season in the Heartland Conference, just 8 games. We're like the Lackawanna Football Conference. We're going to see 5 games, and we see a different amount from each league throughout the state. These kids are just happy to be playing. We talked to Mr. Devlin. These kids have been playing since they've been in 5th grade, especially the seniors. It would have been tough to say no, but everyone has worked hard just to get these kids on the field from PIAA all the way down.
And there's just been a groundswell of support to let all these athletes play, not just the football players. These kids, again, they understand, anybody that's been involved with this game, it starts the day after your last game in the weight room. And the coaches want to make sure that the kids are academically eligible, so they're pushing them there. They're pushing them in the weight room. They're pushing them in preseason, in the summer workouts, which everything got shortened. Nobody could do anything. So these kids would get together, I'm sure, probably on their own, and they were just trying to work the hardest they can to be the best they can for this shortened season.
Another Lackawanna College kickoff for Montoursville.
Are you ready?
Johnson picks it up to the 33-yard line.
Return takes it up to the 30-yard line. Taking down the number 1, Isaiah Fenner. First and 10 for Blue Jays.
After tonight's game, flip over to Fox 56 and watch Northeast and Central Pennsylvania's #1 10 o'clock news team.
So Central will start with a figure law first down. Continuing that, the point coach, it should trickle down. We're talking about football, but it affects the women's soccer, the volleyball team, boys soccer, cross country, tennis, field hockey, golf. I mean, cheerleaders, the band. Yes, there's no band here tonight, but they're bringing the band in when there's away games here to let them play on the field.
To have their Friday night lights also.
It's part of the high school experience. Is a great tackle by Schmalhofer.
And that's one thing with what's occurring across the country is that these kids are missing out on what we would consider normalcy. And they just want to try to get this going. Here's the replay of this. Good job looking, reading. This was a designed run all the way. short gained. So let's hope now Central Columbia just keep this going, ball security, and do what you did before. They had success.
What I've heard all year, what I've talked about, being safe and smart, and
Yes.
that's what the PIAA is trying to do with the players, with everyone out here tonight. Everyone on the field pretty much wearing masks. Doing the best they can to be safe and be smart about it.
And again, the whole, social distancing, when you're involved with the game, especially the kids on the sideline, some people say, oh my God, they're not social distancing. But you know what? They're involved with the game. It's not like they're just messing around. They're trying to pay attention. The coaches, in case a kid needs to get in there, coach can get them right on the spot. This is going to be, they've earned it. These kids have earned the right to be out here to play.
They're check the clock a little bit. McNella's back. In and out of the hand of Garrett Carter. We've seen a few drops tonight from Central Columbia.
Third down and 9.
It's hard to try to get those first downs. That's a frustration level now. Right now, Garrett Carter's going, son of a gun, I know I can do better than that. You can see that. And again, they just got to believe in each other. It's just going to take all of them, not just one player to spark it. It's the entire offensive team.
Well, still plenty of season to go, we hope, for Central. So they're going to watch this film on Monday. They're not going to be happy about it.
No.
But they're going to learn from it.
Again, you're learning from one of the best teams in the Heartland Conference, and we've seen that for the last 3 years from Montoursville.
Let's see if the Blue Jays can get anything before the half. Morrison in and out of his hands. He had it for a moment. It goes incomplete and bring the fourth down again. So McNellis has gotten better throwing the ball. He's hitting his receivers. Now they just can't catch it.
He's getting time. If you look, he's getting some pressure. But again, the offensive line is giving him at least 3 seconds. He's getting the ball off. The receivers have to do their part now and catch that ball.
So Mason Yordy back to punt. He boomed one last time in this spot. Good high kick. Fair catch by Mull. Right about the 31-yard line.
Back there by number 2, Dylan Mull. About the 31-yard line. Montoursville takes
Well, we said on paper, what would this look like? And on paper, it looked pretty good. Montoursville showed us that it's just not the paper. You got to play the game, don't you?
Absolutely. There's 48 minutes to go, and they took the paper, crumpled it up, and threw it in the trash can, and they just came out to play some great football tonight. Central Columbia is going to have to respond. Coach Dennis, when he gets them in there at halftime, is going to have to say, look, guys, we're the ones stopping ourselves right now.
So Montoursville takes over with a figure law first down. Just outside their 30-yard line. They would like nothing to do but put more points on the board before half. Mull going to get some run. And great defense on the outside.
Taking down at their short gain on the play.
By number 35.
Landon Lindsay. Lindsay with the tackle for Central Columbia.
Holding against Montoursville is the call.
But there's a flag down, and looks like this will back up the Warriors on the holding call. Let's see what the referee has to say.
Holding. Offense, number 47, remains first down.
So you might notice that the referees are calling up the numbers this year. Never heard before in the PIAA, but now they have adopted the NFHS rules, correct, Coach?
Correct, they have. And actually that helps the coaches understand, because one of the things you do when they would do this in the past is you'd be screaming at the official. 1, that's a bad call. 2, who was it on? And eventually it was funny because sometimes, again, the officials are human and they do make mistakes. They would say number 6, and it's number 6 is her.
Behind me, yeah, right. Mull again outside. Good pursuit taken by Carter Crawford to pull him down.
Nice job. That was a great, and he's playing nose guard, Bob. So he hits the center, scrapes, and he did a great job with the pursuit drill to get down there to make that tackle.
You can track him there. Tracking, yeah. Good pursuit.
And that's what Coach Hipstein said today earlier. These kids, they got motors on them, and they like to go. And that's a great job from that nose guard.
Take it away. Take that ball away. Take that ball away. Defense, take it away. Come on, Central.
Back to Palizzi.
Good job by the second level of the defense of the Central Columbia Blue Jays. Those linebackers did a nice job plugging and filling
on the play.
and shutting Palizzi down on that. Here you go, look. A little bit of a hold there on number 51, but hey, you know, that's okay. You got to take what you can get sometimes. But a nice job at number 18 there. Garrett Carter coming in there, the 6'2", 220-pound senior.
If you're wondering, both teams do have all their timeouts left. We haven't had one called. So maybe an opportunity for the Blue Jays if they can get the ball back to, get something going before the half. Out to the flat. And they pursue and they take down Dylan Young.
Pass complete to Dylan Young.
Short of a first down. So that will bring out the punt team for Montoursville.
That was a very soft coverage. Again, I know speaking with the defensive coordinator before the game, and he said, if we get into that situation, you'll see the soft coverage. What that means is the secondary didn't want to give up the long pass, but the short pass is there, and you'll see how they converge, burn their hips, and they come up there and they make the tackle.
Timeout called by the Blue Jays. That's their first
Yeah,
timeout.
speaking of timeouts.
There you go, Robert.
Central Columbia calls the timeout, 1:45 left in the half. Matt Beerley had the tackle for Central Columbia, the junior, on that last play, by the way. Have to be impressed with, though, what you've seen from the Warriors.
Oh, absolutely.
Especially on the ground, and then that long pass by Delaney to Young. Two long passes,
too
really.
Long. I think, Bob, you said the second one was probably the best catch. I think the first one, it was a one-handed grab.
Yeah, that's true, too.
I mean, personal preference.
Two options for a play of the night. Is that what we're saying?
That's what we're saying. I think so. But being as you are the sports director, you get the final say in that.
Oh, no, you're a guest, so you get the final say.
Oh, no.
You're prettier than I am.
Well, I don't know about that. If I'm the eye candy, Bob, we're in trouble. Now, Central Columbia knew that they were coming up against a powerhouse, and Montoursville has shown why they are 3 and 4 times district, Heartland Conference champs. I mean, these guys, Coach Kiefer and his staff has done a tremendous job.
Make sure Delaney kicks it. He is the quarterback, so takes a central bounce. They'll have good field position at the 38-yard line.
8-yard line, where the Blue Jays take over 1st and 10.
1:37 left in the half. Can the Blue Jays get some points on the board? We'll see.
They've shown some glimmer on their offense where they're sparking, they're getting some plays. But again, they haven't been their best friend either because they've had too many drop balls, the fumble, the offsides, or I shouldn't say offsides, the false starts. So.
Yeah, it's their mistakes that have helped the Warriors a little bit. A couple short fields to begin the game didn't help.
And then we thought with the long field position, okay, and they go 3 or 4 plays and eat up 80 yards.
So they have 2 timeouts left. 4-man front for the Warriors. McNellis quickly takes it down and slides through for a short gain. Some urgency now on the side of the Jays.
Going to a no huddle.
Let's go, Jays! Come on, Central!
Great tackle out there by Fenner. Smith remains down. Maybe got twisted around a little bit. Brings up 3rd down.
Tremendous coverage, Bob. I'm sorry, I didn't mean to interrupt. Watch this. Good ball, good catch. Watch how he converges. Boom! Sticks that shoulder in there, wraps the arm, squeezes, and drops him, for a short gain.
Young got a hand on that one as it was intended for
Austin Rainier. Brings up a
4th down. What do you do if you're Coach Dennis?
He's going to try to go for it.
You have
42
to, right?
seconds.
And you're down 36 to nothing.
36-0. There's nothing at this point to lose. And I firmly believe, I think Coach Kiefer, if he gets the ball back, he's just going to take a knee, go into halftime, feeling pretty good that his team's up 36-0.
But flips it out, hits his receiver.
Runs out of bounds, saves one of those timeouts. One thing I've noticed Montoursville, with their 4-3 defense that they've been playing, now Central Columbia is going to a balanced attack, and they're just taking the one linebacker and covering the inside receiver. Because what's unique about that is their front four is controlling the offensive line. So they're just saying, okay, we only have to adjust one person. We don't have to, get all upset about it.
We are the Blue Jays. Go C-H-S. We are the Blue
So Gillespie pulled in his first reception of the night. Keeps the drive going inside Montoursville territory. McNella's going to try a long one and a little bit short as he tried to hit Morrison.
Incomplete, intended for Eli Morrison. Defended out
Ball
there by
on the
number 2,
coverage, but he just got too much air under it, I think.
He did. And again, he's getting pressure from the left side from Bob, your favorite guy, Zach Schmalhofer, who we know is a stud out there as a defensive end. Every play, he is coming and just closing that gap down and putting pressure on him. I mean, Zach's not a very big guy in terms of his weight. He's 6'1", 180, but he's got a motor on him, and he just keeps that pressure going. And he's given Logan McWilliams, 6'2", 255 pounds, a lot of problems out there.
He had 56 total tackles last year, 8.5 sacks for the Warriors. Here comes the big-time blitz. Looks like everybody in white is chasing the quarterback. They hit him late, and they're going to get called for a late hit on the quarterback by the guy you just talked about.
Yep.
Mr. Schmalhofer hit Mr. McNellis just a little bit late. He's going to plead his case, but
him and CJ, and again, that was number 36 coming from the outside. Also, I mean, they said, you know what, we're going to blitz the house on this one.
that was CJ. Sorry, that was Signor who had the late hit out of bounds. I apologize. 47, not 45.
Personal foul, roughing the passer, defense, number 47. That's a first down.
So it is a figure law first down for Central. Keeps a little drive going.
I mean, you just see the pressure coming from every gap, and he's coming right here, throws the ball away, and that's the push after the ball was away.
Maybe a little bit unnecessary after he threw it. So that gives a little bit more life left with 23 seconds for Central Columbia, just outside the 25. Continue to look through the air. Trying to hit Gillespie out there.
Defended out there by number 1, Isaiah FNR.
Is he throwing it just a little bit too late, you think?
A little bit too late. That was a little bit behind. But I think what could help if they do a double move out there, because the way that Montoursville's secondary is converging, they're just crashing it down so fast that if there's a pump fake, it's easy for me to say up here, Bob.
Well, that's why you're up here.
That's true.
Hopefully the Central coaches will notice that or do something in the second half. Double move, but I know Central would like to get anything on the board. Still have the 2 timeouts left. A couple penalties. Go to the end zone, and there's the flag. And they're going to get Fenner out there for some interference trying on Mr. Gillespie.
Logan might, he may have sold that one a little bit. He might get an Oscar for that. But no, there was. I mean, again, you got to let the receiver try to attempt to catch that ball, and when you get drugged down like that, they have no choice but to throw the flag.
So that should be a 15-yard penalty. It's not the place of the foul.
No, we're not the NFL.
Nope.
Pass interference, defense, number 1. Result of the foul is a first down.
So it's a figure law first down, and it will take them inside the Allied Services red zone for the first time tonight. Here it is again.
You'll see this. Yep. Again, you can't impede the receiver from trying to catch the ball, and obviously you took him down. And again, you don't want to give up 6.
No.
15 yards is better than 6 points.
Yeah, and that's the difference. It's not a spot foul, but they'll get the ball. just about the 13-yard line. Now, there is 16 seconds left. That's it. Not a lot of time for Central.
And they have 2 timeouts, I believe.
Still, yes. Little fade and over the head of Morrison into the corner.
Incomplete intended for Eli Morrison.
Brings up second down.
Dylan Young.
Bob, you were talking about the shortened season for the high school and the different conferences. And then this week, the Big Ten.
Yes, we'll see a little bit Penn State football.
State. So we're going to restore the roar, I suppose, down there in Nittany Stadium, or Beaver Stadium, excuse me.
Come on, Central!
So Central calls the play. The clock stops, so 12 seconds left. They do have a decent, Yordi can kick a field goal, and the wind will be behind him. But you really want a touchdown if you're Central. McNellis taken down for a sack.
Great job by the secondary, and the linebackers drop into the mid zone, hook to curl. The free safety and the 2 corners do a nice job just doing man coverage. There was nothing there in the defensive line.
Here we go, looking again.
Right in there. There's not much that they could do. Yeah.
And we've got 6 seconds left in the half.
Timeout on the field as well. So you got 2 plays. You can pick up a first down inside the 5, so you do have that. And you can do get something in the middle of the field because you have 1 timeout left.
Correct. And you know right now, Coach Dennis called 2 plays for this. And it'll be interesting to see how the Central Columbia Blue Jays respond to this. They're going to need this. If they get points now, they're going to have to come out of a huge defensive series. And then I think they're going to start chipping away at that deficit that they have.
Well, the first real opportunity for Central, and it's been helped by a couple of penalties. 1 for a late hit on the quarterback on this drive, and another for pass interference in the end zone. So the QB inside the Allied Services red zone will go into the shotgun. Troy Johnson sidecar to him. Bennett at the blitz. Here comes an all-out blitz. Another fade. And Morrison, they're going to get another penalty on Montoursville. This time Dylan Mall, excuse me. Number 2, here we go, Coach. Look at it again.
Some of the coaches will teach a technique where you tell your secondary guy, get your hand on his hip, and sometimes they grab too much cloth, and again, it impedes the receiver ability to run. And that's what, again, you get that separation in there, and that's what the official saw, and that's why he threw the flag.
5 seconds left in the half. Here comes the field goal unit onto the field.
Holding. Defense, number 2. It'll be half the distance, and it's going to remain 3rd down.
So with 5 seconds left, Coach Dennis brings out his field goal unit. Is the thinking just get points on?
Absolutely.
Just get something on the board.
And that way they could, okay, it wasn't a complete disaster the first half. We did get some points. We kicked.
So Yordi will line it up. Looks like he's about the 17 for a 27-yard field goal. Snap is good. Kick is up. It is long enough, and it is through.
Good. Making your score, Montoursville 36, Central Columbia 3.
So Yordi nails it through on a 27-yard field goal. And with 2 seconds left, the deficit now 33, and that's significant. Why?
Because now we don't have to have the running clock in the second half.
I don't know if that's good or bad, but it's good for Central Columbia, though, right now.
It gives them a chance. Now they're going to go in there, and Coach Dennis and his staff is going to regroup. They're going to talk to the offensive receivers to say, guys, we're not helping ourselves. Catch the ball. He's going to talk to Garrett McNellis and say, look, you know what the problem is. Now we have to fix it. Defense, we have to do a better job of those long plays. Stop giving up big, long plays.
Coming up in our Toyota halftime report, we'll check in from our crew from the Fox 56 News First at 10 on what we'll see on Fox coming up tonight. We'll also hear from our friends from Allied Services. We'll present a nice check to Central Columbia for having us here tonight, and Coach and I will be back in the booth,
Yes, we
social
will.
distance, and we'll break down the first half for you. Montoursville will receive the second half kick, so keep that in mind. This is touched. One, and they're going to say that is or not. That will be the half, and they're going to walk off. Yes, that will do it. One half in the book here, just outside Bloomsburg in this Pennsylvania Heartland Conference game. It's been all Montoursville here tonight. 36-3 is the score. We're going to try and get Coach Dennis down to our socially distanced set and talk to Hannah O'Reilly. We'll see.
Southern Columbia, 35-0 over Bloomsburg at this point.
Coach is evidently not going to give you some scores while Coach Dennis makes his way down.
Danville, same score, 35-0 over Midwest. Central Columbia, 7-3 over Selinsgrove. Close game, Blue Mountain 14, Jim Thorpe 6.
Now, that's significant that Danville score because Montoursville takes on the Ironmen next week in a big game.
And Coach Brennan in his first year with the Ironmen.
Yep, and that's
high expectations.
That's two of the top AAA teams in the conference going head-to-head. So I believe Coach Dennis is down. We'll get to Hannah in a couple of seconds.
Another Heartland Conference real quick, 28-0 Williamsport over Wyoming area.
Okay, here is Hannah O'Reilly with Coach Dennis. Hannah?
I'm here with head coach of Central Columbia, Scott Dennis. Coach, your team is down. What adjustments are you planning on making in the second half?
Well, this game is a pretty simple game. It comes down to blocking and tackling, and we're not doing either right now, and they're doing it a lot better than we are. So adjustment-wise, it's not an X's and O issue. This is an issue of us coming out and playing the game the way it's supposed to be played.
Well, thanks for talking to us. We'll let you get back to your team.
Thank you.
Bob, Jan, back to you guys.
Well, we thank Coach Dennis for just coming over. His team down, of course, 33 points. Our Toyota halftime report coming up. Then Coach and I will be back in the booth to get you ready for the second half of Friday Night Rivals.
Center.
I'm here at Friday Night Rivals, stopped by Allied Services. Bill Conroy. Bill, thanks for joining us.
Thank you, man.
Now, Allied Services, you guys are a big name in the employers in this area. What is Allied Services?
Yes, and thank you very much. Allied Services is a regional post-acute health care system. We do business in about 25 outlying organizations.
always helping people get back on their feet. And we want to thank you guys for what you've done in the community.
Thank you. We're honored to do the work we do in our community.
Thank you, and thanks for being here.
Thank you.
I'm now joined by Tracy Hunt, who is the Assistant Vice President of In-Home Services. Tracy, thank you for being here.
You're very welcome.
Can you explain to us what a direct care worker is?
I sure can. A direct care worker is an individual who we employ to go from home to home to help people with physical disabilities and people over the age of 60. They help individuals with bathing, clothing, dressing, meal preparation, errands, some light housekeeping, and anything else that they need.
So how did the coronavirus affect some of these duties of a direct care worker?
Honestly, it didn't impact in-home services at all. We did not miss a day of service. Our individuals were cared for every single day and continue to be cared for by our direct care staff. They have gone above and beyond to make sure that our individuals are safe, cared for, and they have not missed a beat.
Well, Tracy, thank you for the work that you do and the work of Allied Services, and we hope to see you soon.
Thank you.
I'm Bill Conboy, President of Allied Services. During these particularly challenging times, we're pleased to continue our support of high school athletes and high school athletic programs throughout the communities we serve. We also honor our employees and all frontline workers who have held the line and stayed the course throughout this pandemic. Thank you.
And on behalf of Allied Services, we are happy to present Central Columbia and Athletic Director Kevin Morgan a check for $250 for Friday Night Rivals here on MyTV WQMY. We come back in the booth now, Bob Ide and Jan Cicek on the other side of the glass, as you might say. What looked on paper, Coach, a great game from both two good teams in the Heartland Conference. I think the Warriors have come out and said, yeah, this is our conference and our district, and you're going to have to take it away from us.
You have to go through us if you think you're going to be district champs. And Montoursville, they're just reloaded. I know that on paper, Coach said, even in the pregame, that they're inexperienced offensive line, but they don't look too inexperienced. No. And Central Columbia is a team on the rise. Coach Dennis knew that this is going to be a huge hurdle, and he's going to look to see what kind of response his team will have the second half.
Well, let's take a look at some first-half highlights. Two short fields really helped the Warriors. Their first drive ended after it started on the 40-yard line as they went to the Wildcat, and Maul took it in. Oh, I know. I should say Dylan Bennett took it in. And then Palizzi went to work another 100-yard night for the running back.
Again, Rocco just very patient on that outside zone, the stretch play as it's called, does a nice job. Watch this pass right here. This is the one, Bob, we were talking, which one's the better reception, one hand right there. Tremendous job pulling it in. And again, I really love this effort, stretching out for the touchdown.
That was Dylan Young with a 60-yard reception. Then on the two-point conversion, I think they faked out Central Columbia pretty quick. They convert that, so that was 29, 2-0. Then it was off to the races again. Great inside-outside move by number 2, Dylan Maul. And then another pass play from Delana to Young.
And this is, Bob, this is one you love. I mean, but again, it was just like everything that he had pressure in his face, great spiral, and then he just reached up and Dylan just stole that ball out for the touchdown.
And very late, right really at the end of the half, Central Columbia did convert in a field goal. A lot of penalties helped them drive down the field. So maybe some momentum going in. We'll see if it happens because the Warriors have to come out and they get the ball.
They do. The defense actually has been doing a pretty good job at times. It's that second level. And I know Coach, the defense coordinator, he's going to tell the linebackers, look, you're going to have to shed. You got to make those tackles. The front three are doing their job. We saw that number 64 when he did that great job coming across there from the nose guard position, and he just did a great job. Carter Crawford on that one with Palizzi, and he drug him down from behind. I mean, that was just great effort. So things are in place for Central Columbia. They just have to take it, and I keep saying this, and again, it's our first game of the year. They got the first down, then they started building, and they're going to chip away at this. So the defense has to stop them.
Some impressive numbers before we go to break. Maddox Delina, 132 yards through the year, 2 touchdowns. Dylan Young, 5 receptions, 117 yards. Palizzi has 118 yards and a touchdown. But I think the one stat that stands out, Montoursville has outgained Central Columbia 266 to 44. So on that, we're going to take a break. When we come back, Jan will give us his second half keys for both teams. It's Allied Services Friday Night Rivals presented by Hazleton Honda.
Technical Center.
Both teams are making their way on the field here. There you see the score, 36-3. Warriors with a big night over the Blue Jays. Beautiful field here. Wish that we could see more fans, but the 250 limit is in effect here. We do have some cheerleaders from Central Columbia doing their best to urge their team on despite the big deficit. So we're happy for that. So why don't you tell us what you want to see from Central Columbia first in the second half?
Central Columbia is going to just have to start putting some offense together. Their receivers, I'm sure we're told at halftime, look, guys, the ball's there. You have to make that catch. Offensive line has been doing, I think, a pretty good job giving him, Garrett McNellis, time to throw. The defense, as I said, the linebackers have got to start shedding the offensive linemen and making their tackles to do their job properly. Montoursville, I'm sure right now, Coach Kiefer probably said to the guys, look, there's another half. Forget the first half. Let's get back to work. And I'm sure by the fourth quarter, he's going to be putting in some of those other guys like he has done the last 3 years to give the younger kids that experience.
So the Warriors will get the ball. Yeah, don't be surprised if we see Bryce Eberhardt for Montoursville, a 6'1 freshman. He played a little bit last week in the blowout over Midwest, and I'm sure if this deficit expands, you'll see him. He is a strong arm. I saw him at practice this week. He looked pretty good himself for a freshman.
Yeah, I mean, this is what's wonderful about high school football. The kids love being here, and they know they have to wait their turn. They have to be patient. They have to get into the weight room. They have to pay their dues. And when the coach calls on you, you got to perform.
You see Coach Kiefer talking to some of the referees from District 4. There you see the mask everyone wearing. Montoursville has some designated masks with the Warrior football logo on it. And Central Columbia has those pull-ups.
Yep. The Gators.
The Gators, is that what they're called? Gators,
yeah. They're called Gators, and they have the Blue Jays on them.
Our crew, of course, wearing our masks here at the game, and as well as some of the fans. Senior parents let in tonight for the football team and a couple cheerleaders on both sides, quite frankly. So at least they get to come in and see. I haven't seen on the outside if any of other parents are viewing the game, or maybe they've gone home now because it's a little bit chilly out, Coach.
It really has dropped, and they said there could be frost this evening. I'm sure Allie Debicki will get us up to speed on the weather.
Yeah, that will be at the half. So Lackawanna College kickoff for Central Columbia. That's going to go into the end zone and be brought out. And Montoursville, and we'll see who comes out at quarterback for the Warriors.
Montoursville takes over, 1st and 10.
It's Nissan Truck Month at W&L Nissan with America's best truck warranties. Come in and check out the 2020 Nissan trucks and enjoy a worry-free car buying experience at W&L Nissan.
It will be Maddox Delina taking the snap out of the shotgun. Rocco Palizzi next to him on the right-hand side. Almost a fumble. Maul pulls it in and makes something out of nothing that could have been a disaster, but instead it goes for 4 yards.
They come back, they open up the second half with the jet sweep. And Bob, like you said, there was almost a mishandling there of the ball. Just a little bit late. Good pursuit, number 54 coming up. All right. You see number 25 for Central Columbia coming up on that to make that stop. That was Troy Johnson.
Hey, they still get 5 for Montoursville, right? When your offense is clicking, it is clicking. So inside, they go. Crawford going to take him down quickly. So 3rd and short on the way.
Up the middle.
Crawford with 7 tackles last week for Central Columbia in their win over Lewisburg.
I have a feeling, Coach Kiefer's probably going to make his offensive line really work. I think they're going to try to pound it out to try to run that clock down, keep the ball away from Central Columbia so that McNellis now will be even colder to start.
Oh, there's that hard count again, and I think Montoursville will get a first Lackawanna W&L first down the easy way.
Defense,
And
number 54, result of first down.
That's if you're Central Columbia, that's too easy. You can't do that.
You can't get it, especially when you're down by 33 points. Don't make it easier for the Montoursville Warriors.
Sack 'em, get that ball back. Sack 'em.
So after the W&L first down, the Warriors continue their drive out to Polizzi. Polizzi finds the gap and finally into Blue Jays territory. He's faster than you think,
He
right?
appears. He's faster in person than he is on film. But the key to that was C.J. Signor with this block. If we get a chance to see that replay, you're going to see how he turns the defender out, and then Polizzi just tucks it up inside and then bounces back to the outside.
So it's 25 more yards added on to the 118 he already had in the first half. Could be pushing 200 by the time this game gets done. Polizzi in again. Isaac Kester, number 44, takes him down.
That play was just, again, the ISO. The fullback is leading up through. It's what we call Bob blocking. Not Bob-eyed, but Bob standing for big on big. So everybody mans up and gets the man on top of them.
Well, that wouldn't be this Bob blocking big on big.
I think the only big guy up here is me, and that must be the Quarantini 15.
That's because you brought your big boy pants tonight. Come on, you know. Out to Signor. Nice gain. Crawford with another tackle.
Pass is complete to number 47, C.J. Signor. Taken down by Carter Crawford at the 39-yard line. Brings up a 3rd down and 3.
3rd and short.
Replay again. Nice job of the split back action. Come back with the waggle pass on that. For the connection, CJ getting a nice 6 yards on that.
Well, if Central wants to do anything, they need to stop on 3rd down. So it's becoming obvious. Big hole for Polizzi. Shoots through, and he is in for a Blaze Alexander Family Dealership touchdown.
You're going to see that the linebacker blitz and Polizzi ran exactly where he was. This is just a tremendous burst. Look at that offensive line. 2nd level, 1st level taken care of. He just explodes through that for that touchdown. Tremendous job, great run. Nice job by the offensive line.
183 now for Rocco. Maybe the last we see of him, though, is he's going to take a break, get some water over there. Young in for another extra point. 6 plays, 80 yards. Montoursville extends the lead, and we'll take a timeout here on My TV in Friday Night Rivals. And we are back. We're going to let this game go. It's a Lackawanna College kickoff coming up for, looks like Dylan Young again, placing it down at the 40-yard line. Couple third down conversions on that drive, Coach. Pretty much tells you how the night's been going for Central Columbia. And, of course, Rocco Palizzi with the big 40-yard run to cap that.
Let's see, 3 touchdowns and 186 yards?
Yep. Not a bad night.
No, not pretty much just one half of football for that young man.
Yep. Central up to the 28-yard line.
Across the 25-yard line to about the 28.
If Central had just to get anything back, they really had to stop that drive.
That was
key. That's a key drive.
That was key for them to stop them. They had the field goal right before half, and if they could have stopped them on that and then gotten decent field position, they could have put something together. Obviously, I mean, I'm not being Captain Obvious with that statement, but Coach Dennis right now is frustrated. The kids obviously are frustrated, but they've got to go back to work, and they still have another 20 minutes of football to play.
Yeah, they'll take on Midwest next week, who, of course, Montoursville beat. Big game now next week, again in Division II. We'll look at the standings shortly. Danville's beating Midwest tonight. So that will set up a battle of unbeatens between the Warriors and the Ironmen. And flag comes in.
Johnson on the carry over the left side. Picks up about 3 on the play. Taken down by Heath Jones.
There you see the call, holding on Central.
Coach Dennis said at halftime when Hannah was interviewing him that
holding.
It's
offense, number 56 remains, first down.
It's not the X's and O's, it's what they're not executing. And that's another prime example of why Central's really struggling this evening.
It was Jake Pierce with the hold in there on the offensive line now. Believe it or not, this is the first meeting since 2013 for these two teams.
Well, they did a realignment of the conferences, I believe.
Carter not able to pull that in. The big tight end. So last time these two teams met, Montoursville won 42-0. 2013. Now here's the replay. And the year before that, Central won 27-17. The last win for the Blue Jays over the Warriors, 2012.
Well, we know Montoursville's been on a mission for the last 5 years. Central Club, again, I give Coach Dennis, I know right now he's not feeling very confident probably in what's going on the field, but these kids have really worked hard, and it's going to come for Coach Dennis because they have bought into the program and everything, the community, the district. All the coaches have said how supportive everybody is. So I think this is going to be a good sign for them.
I think we got a timeout called before the flag. It was going to be a delay of game, and they're getting that play in much late, very late, I should say, from the 25-second clock. Or notice that the last time McNellis came all the way over to get the play, and by the time he went into the huddle, there was 10 seconds left. So something to work on for Central Columbia.
Hazleton Honda's September clearance event is going on now. Save up to $6,000 on all new 2019 Hondas in stock. Come in soon. We have a limited supply. Your dream Honda is waiting at Hazleton Honda. Bob, you were saying about the delay game and how lengthy and the calls are. I was reading an article that Coach Kiefer has his quarterbacks always run to the sideline because there's a lot of verbiage in the offense.
McNellis with some time. Morrison over the middle, took a step backwards though.
McNellis' pass complete to Eli.
Should have been a 7-yard game or 8, but Morrison tried to make a move and instead going to pick up only 5, so it brings 3rd down and long now after that penalty.
Well, they were doing a crossing pattern underneath in the linebacker zones. The linebackers are dropping to their zones, hook to curl or middle to flat, whatever their responsibility may be. And you can just see, here he comes. He's coming right across. And again, he was able to make the reception, but those guys converge so quick and so fast that it's a short gain.
Maul on the tackle. McNella's time in the pocket over the middle, intercepted. Picked off by Maul. And he's taken down inside Montoursville territory. The 39.
Down there by Eli Morrison. 1st and 10 for the Warriors at the 35.
Here it is, the pass, dropping back. Decent protection. Sets up, he's throwing off the proper foot. And again, he overthrew. And again, it was 2-on-1 coverage and Maul with the interception.
How about Maul last year? He had a touchdown interception return. He had a touchdown punt return, and he had a touchdown kick return.
That's a good night, Bob.
That was a good year. That was his year. That would be a good night, wouldn't it?
It would be.
Yeah. That was for season last year. So
I know.
he's doing a little bit of everything.
facetious.
That's his first interception on the year. And Palizzi looking to go over the 200-yard mark and picks up 15 on that. So I have him like 198 right now.
Again, they
That's
go
a
with
W&L first down, by the way. Go ahead, Coach.
Oh,
Sorry.
that's all right. They go with the quick toss. CJ, look at him lead blocking in there. Patience, and again, on the part of Palizzi in there, not outrunning his blockers. That young man, if they didn't have the short fields, he would be well over 200 yards, probably close to 3.
Let's see if this is the last play, last series of the game for the starters for the Warriors. They put up 56 last week. He's over 200 and more. Does he want another touchdown? Palizzi is in for a Blaze Alexander Family Dealerships Warrior touchdown.
Again, I can't emphasize enough the patience of the way Rocco Palizzi runs. Like he's sprinting there, he's reading the field, picking where he wants to go, and boom. I mean, God, that's just a God-given talent, and it's a pleasure to watch that young man run the ball.
Dylan Young in again to attempt the extra point.
Palizzi's 3rd touchdown of the night. Young is up with the kick. This one is no good.
No good. Keeping your score, Montoursville.
So the score remains with 4:50 left in the 3rd quarter, 49-3, and the mercy rule, as they call it, will be in effect for the rest of this half.
Yes, sir.
Keeps the clock rolling. Stopped here, of course, till we get to the Lackawanna College kickoff.
So I'm sure Dylan Young right now, Coach, is probably going to be screaming at him that he missed that extra point. But here's a young man that doesn't leave the field. Offense, defense, and special teams. I'm sure his legs are probably a little tired from playing both sides of the ball and then trying to kick.
Now, one of the rules, I do notice some of the Montoursville players all the way down to the 10. Because of the social distancing, they've let the players go down from 10 to the 10. The coaches still have to stay in the coach's box,
yes.
25 to 25. One of the new rules for this year.
And again,
and the Lackawanna College kickoff, a little squibber. Looks like Johnson from about his 16.
Troy Johnson on the return out to about the 30-yard line, taken down there by number 1, Isaiah Fenner, number 36.
So here's the schedule now, the rest of the season for the Blue Jays. Of course, they get Midwest next week, then Mifflinburg. That big game, always October 23rd. They will host Southern Columbia here. They'll end the 8-game series season this year with Bloomsburg.
And their schedule they have is pretty favorable, except for that October 23rd.
Cool.
I'm sorry. There's always one game a year is going to be an uphill battle and almost insurmountable odds to try to beat a team.
Danville's going to be tough, too.
Oh, yeah.
Don't get me wrong.
I'm not.
And Mount Carmel? Come on.
I'm being optimistic here.
I'm
being a coach. You got to. And again, I'm going to say this now that both coaches are going to tell both their teams.
Timeout called by the Blue Jays.
have a short memory, enjoy this victory, or if you, unfortunately, Central Columbia, Coach Dennis is going to tell his kids, all right, forget about it. We got to get ready for next week. And again, they have a very winnable game against Midwest. I know Montoursville said Midwest defensive line is really good, and they were able to figure out if they run off tackle, they were successful. Last week, Rocco Polizzi had, we said 130 yards, 2 touchdowns. And tonight, that young man is well over 200 yards, and he also has 3 touchdowns. So you can't rest on your laurels. You just got to keep working hard and keep going after it.
So it looks like Logan Welcome, sophomore, 6'2", will take over the quarterback duties. Coach Dennis wants to get him a little bit of work because McNellis is a senior. I know you would think Garrett does want to be in there, but that's, tough decision. See some of the starters still in there after the timeout.
Yeah, I'm here. Should I go get the cheerleader?
So Matt Beerley, also number 17, in a wideout for now for Central. He's actually in a wing position, I believe, at this point. Johnson still trying to use that stiff arm. Positive yardage. Give him about 6 yards on that.
Takes it out to about the 37-yard line. Tackled there by number 3, Marco Polizzi.
I mean, right now, with the score being 49-3 in Montoursville's favor, he's starting to substitute a lot of his players in there because he knows, guess what, it's going to be an eight-game season. We got to keep them going.
And it looks like the second team is in for Montoursville on defense at this point.
And I can't help to notice that number 77 for Montoursville, Gavin Farkarzin, is 6'4", 300 pounds. He's a very large young man, and he is a junior. So they're going to get him that playing experience, and I'm sure coaches are really happy to see that. When you have that kind of size, you really can't coach that, other than the fact they have great technique.
Gage Chipileski, number 34, had the carry. Little pitch out to him. Oh, he's going to be taken down by the face mask. That's a big time no-no. And that was Jacob Fellinger, senior number 87, who grabbed a hold of that equipment. That cannot feel good.
Personal foul, face mask on the defense. Result of the foul is first down.
So that picks up a W&L first down for the Blue Jays, and here you see it again.
Quick toss.
Put the ball up near midfield. So Chipileski with a yard gain.
Chipileski on that was the outside zone play. Offensive line all took their steps to the right, and he was just trying to find some daylight and was fortunate to get 1 yard.
Tristan Douglas on the carry.
So Tristan Douglas, the freshman,
Picks up about 1 on the
picks
play.
up
Tackled
another
number
yard.
47, Jacob Fellinger.
And this is what happened to Montoursville last year. I mean, they got a lot of experience playing in games that were pretty much blowouts, and that has translated into the way they're playing this year. Now, again, we would even see Maddox Delina in a game with Loyalstock in the middle of the second quarter, and we're like, what's going on? Where's Hunter Shear?
We thought, yeah.
And Hunter Shear will be back. And you're like, okay, well, that's the way they play. That's the way he likes to get his quarterback's experience. Now I'm sure we're going to see a freshman come in at quarterback for Montoursville. We're seeing some of the backups already now for the Blue Jays. Tristan being chased by Marco Polizzi. How about Marco having a nice year already? 6 tackles and interception for the sophomore last year from Montoursville. I should say last week against Midwest.
Sometimes it's tough being the younger brother.
Yeah.
Yeah, it's like, okay, Rocco's probably saying, come on, try to tackle me.
Yeah.
And again, he's getting that kind of experience. Right there, you see that he's just running too far laterally sidelines, which allows Montoursville now to pursue and take that angle away.
So 4th down, obviously Central will go for it. Now, I don't know if the JV teams are supposed to play, but, I mean, this is now going to turn into a JV game, which is great if they weren't going to play. Oh, great job shooting in.
Number 21.
Yeah, Nick Reeder, the junior.
Did a real nice job screaming downfield. Again, we say that all the time.
So on the turnover on downs, Montoursville gets it, and that runs out the third quarter. So 3 quarters in the book here for Friday Night Rivals here in Columbia County. The 4th quarter on the way. It's been all Montoursville. They're going to go to 2-0 when this game ends. We'll be right back. And welcome back to Columbia County, this Pennsylvania Heartland Conference matchup in Division II between the Warriors and the Blue Jays. Bob Ide and Jan Sechak in the socially distanced booth.
Yeah.
What we thought would be a really good matchup has turned into a one-sided affair as Montoursville has come in and really put it on to this home team. Maybe shocked them a little bit, because I know talking to Central Columbia earlier in the week, they did have the confidence. The kids did. I mean, the seniors definitely were returning, and now they have to dig deep. Figured they still have a season. They still have some games against Danville, a game against Southern Columbia. They want to go out and win, of course, then all the other ones in between. But right now, they got some work to do.
They've got, and again, these kids now, the young kids are in there on both sides, getting that vital experience, which is going to help them down the season.
And there is the quarterback in, Bryce Eberhardt, the 6'1 freshman. Over to Zach Barnes.
And you'll see this again. He does a nice fake. And he just does a nice job getting that ball right there. And that was perfect placement. Oh. It was right in the bread
Turf
basket.
Monster got him.
Yeah.
So the clock will roll here in the 4th quarter. We need some players of the game, Coach. I'm going to go, and this will be easy.
Is this a stretch?
This is a big-time stretch. Who do you think? Wrong. No. Maybe, how about Dylan Young? How about him?
I'm not sure. He did miss an extra point.
Oh, man. And I don't think Rocco. I mean, you could go Maddox had a big night, but Rocco on the ground. I mean, really, the way he's run is another W&L first down for the Warriors. But Polizzi, 200-plus yards on the ground. The way he just waits, and you like the way he runs, don't you?
I really do. The patience that young man possesses when he's running. A lot of times, if you have a speedy kid, they're so fast that they're running into the secondary before any blocks. And Rocco has really done a tremendous job understanding how to run the ball with that patience. And again, I think the first 3 drives they had were short field.
2.
So, 2?
Yep. There were a couple short fields in there. 2 turnovers turned into points that were turned into some points from the Blue Jays. One was a fumble, and the other was the interception. Montoursville converted those, and that's what winning teams do.
They do. They just capitalize on your mistakes, and young teams will have those growing pains. This is a nice job with the ISO play. He does a nice job picking and choosing, And if he's going to be following in Rocco Polizzi's footsteps, he's going to have to understand to be patient, but have that speed and strength and explosion.
That was Dylan Blackwell, the 5'9" junior, who did have 5 carries for 20 yards last week. So the freshman quarterback goes underneath center. Zach Barnes with the carry. And they are inside the Allied Services red zone. And it is a W&L first down.
Again, now we're going to try to keep everybody honest. We're going to hand the ball off to the fullback on a quick dot, quick hitter. And he, again, gets that W&L first down. Sets Montoursville up, again, for another score inside the red zone.
Central showing a blitz. Big hole for Blackwell. And he gets close to another W&L first down. And it will be again, first and goal.
Just right up inside here, the fullback, they go with the motion. With the 3-3 defense, you don't have to do any adjustments. But the fullback hit the second level, and that's what's springing all these big plays. When you're playing linebacker, you can't be playing flat-footed and not moving. And that's what that young man did. So hopefully, I'm sure Coach Dennis and the rest of the defensive staff will correct that.
It's going to be a long film class on Monday. So if you're wanting to talk to coach or the players, you might want to have to wait. All right?
Absolutely. Well, I don't know what Coach Dennis's coaching week is like. I know Saturday.
Monday was always Monday I know is his film day with the players.
Well,
I'm sure he's he might be looking at film tonight. Or he might say,
I don't think he's going to look at it tonight. He'll have to look at it tomorrow very quickly because it was obvious what happened. They hurt themselves.
Yeah.
It wasn't they were out-schemed or out-muscled.
Second down. Big push from the offensive line. And they're going to say he's short by a half a yard.
On the carry stopped short of the goal line at the 1 yard line by a host of Blue Jays.
So they'll bring up third down and goal.
Saturdays, Bob, when I was coaching, our week would be on after games. Saturday would be treatment for the players.
Mm-hmm.
We would come in and do like yoga, stretching, and we would do a light lift just to try to get that lactic acid out. And then we would break the films down. The coaches we'd have our strength coach there on Saturday. We'd pull kids in as we saw them. And then Sunday was off. Monday would be back to work on the film and your opposing team. And then Tuesday, Wednesday was obviously we'd be going full pads or uppers to get prepared, and then Thursday touchdown.
Well, the freshman gets his first touchdown. It's a Blaze Alexander family of dealerships one. And Bryce Eberhardt with a rushing touchdown.
Bob, you had mentioned earlier about these young kids getting in. Here we go with the touchdown again. That's a good offensive line surge. Again, their coach is going to say, hey, guys, you got to stay lower. Just like Central Columbia's D-line coach is going to say, guys, just stood up. You know better. Stay low, leverage, low man wins. Bob, you were saying, again, I'll repeat it myself, that you were saying these young kids now are getting all experience, and we're looking across at successful programs year in and year out that these young kids do get more than one series a game. And it's paying dividends. Dallas, I saw, was doing a nice job.
We'll pick up that point. After that, Mason Yorty with the block kick. So Montoursville extends the lead. We'll take a quick timeout and be right back.
Welcome back to Blue Jays Stadium. As we mentioned before, not a ton of fans, which means the cheerleaders need to be that much louder. I'm joined by senior cheerleader Margot Mensch. Margot, how excited are you to have a season this year?
I'm so excited. I'm telling you, we were scared we weren't going to have a season this year, but we're all over the moon that we do get to cheer for the little amount that we do.
And obviously, coronavirus, a lot of adjustments have to be made. What are practices and game days looking like for you guys this year?
Practices and game days are a lot different than last year. We all have to, social distance, wear our masks, but we're all glad that we get to practice first of all, and that we do have a season to come to.
And like I mentioned, you guys are, you're the root of this. You guys have to cheer these guys on. Do you think your squad can do it this season?
I think we can. We got a little bit of a late start because we started in July, but we've been practicing really hard, and I think we got it this year.
All right, well, thanks for joining us, and good luck with your season.
Thank you so much.
Bob, Jan, back to you guys.
Thank you, ladies. Appreciate the time. Cheerleaders doing a nice job. I know they're a little bit chilly tonight, as the temperatures drop quickly here in Columbia County. Under 5 to play. Some of the younger guys getting the playing time as we see Tristan Douglas taking it in there.
Number 39, Braden Brown, after pickup of about
again
4,
outside
brings up a
outside zone
6.
there with the fullback leading up through. And Tristan Douglas getting a few yards for the Central Columbia Blue Jays. He's coming out to get a breather right now.
So
it is a high lead. It is a high lead.
So Montoursville next week goes to Mifflinburg. So I jumped a week ahead. They don't play Danville until October 2nd. So it's a couple weeks away. They should probably be undefeated going into that. Lewisburg down. Now Loyalsock, that's a different beast. Jersey Shore with another big win tonight, right, Coach?
Huge win tonight, 53-0.
Yeah. So that's going to be very tough. Now the Battle of the Bridge. Loyalsock has not played a game yet. They got hit with the coronavirus. They were out a couple weeks. They missed their first couple games. I know Coach Van Fleet is very excited about his team, but they're already behind 2 games. That's going to be tough. That's tough to bring the kids back and then get them up for a 5-game season.
That's huge because nice pass.
Logan Welco's pass.
Can't drop those ones.
Brings up a
we
4th and
were
5.
looking at that schedule, Bob, and again, it's tough for Loyalsock because it's not like you can have a scrimmage.
Yeah.
They're going right into the game.
Into it.
So it's going to end up not being a very pretty game for them technique-wise. This is a great ball, nice throw. He has 2 hands. He's just got to look that in. Again, coach will tell him to get pinky to pinky, make a big basket in there, or thumb to thumb and make that triangle as you're coming across the field like that.
Well, it's Mason Yorty, a senior. He listed as one of the, he is the kicker on some points, but he's getting some playing time tonight. So it was in and out of his hands. So I think he's actually going to line up in punt formation now. And Montoursville got a hand on it. It'll be down right there, partially blocked by the Warriors. Why don't we run through some of the conferences right now in the Heartland, because this was maybe our only trip down here this year. We'll see what happens at the end of the season. Division I right now, Jersey Shore is doing well. Of course, you mentioned that. Selinsgrove, Central Mountain won tonight. They're undefeated. Milton and Shamokin are down a little bit. As you see the block punt, number 75 got his hands on it, Coach.
That was Jaden Wilson, who's a 9th grader, 5'11", 203 pounds. And we see Jaden right now lining up at the offensive tackle for the Warriors.
They're going into the victory formation for the Warriors. So they're just going to run through a couple plays, and that will roll out the game. So Mount Carmel has not played a game yet. Southern played their first game tonight. Loyalsock has not played a game yet. Mount Carmel and Southern will actually play on Tuesday. Mount Carmel has a game on Tuesday against Williams Valley, their first game. Then they play Friday. Then they play Tuesday, and then they play Friday. Your head's going to explode this year.
I don't know how they're going to prepare for each of those teams. Talk about a short work week. If you're playing Tuesday and then coming back on a Friday, that's tough. I mean, that's a lot to ask.
Well, it's a Tuesday, Friday, Tuesday, Friday. Where Southern is a Well, they moved the game. One of the games they did move to Saturday, so they did.
Okay.
They gave them that little, that cushion. But Southern is going to play the same thing, and they look pretty good. Jersey Shore is looking very good in this down here, out in the PHAC and in District 4. So a lot going on. Will there be postseason? Who knows? Hopefully the PIAA will announce that soon. Right now, next week, we will be up in Nanticoke for Crestwood and Nanticoke. Crestwood beating Tunkhannock tonight, and then Nanticoke losing to, who'd they lose to tonight?
I will tell you in 1 second.
You mentioned the score before.
They got beat pretty good by.
The final score here tonight is going to be Montoursville 55, Central Columbia 3. Blue Jays are on the road next week at Midwest.
Hey, we'll get to that later. No. Nanticoke did lose, so
They lost 35-3 to Lake Lehman.
okay, thank you. So this game is in the books. Easy win for Montoursville. 55-3 is the final. Both teams will line up now. Tip a hat. Can't shake hands this season. We'll try to get our players of the game over to Hannah. So bear with us. We'll hand them a Friday Night Rivals plaque this year and congratulate them on a big win for Montoursville. It was all Warriors here tonight in Central Columbia. There's the final score. Once again, 55-3. We'll take a break, and when we come back, we'll have the players of the game.
Friday Night Rivals is sponsored by Allied Services, Hazleton Honda, Luzerne County Community College, Toyota, Lackawanna College, Figured Law Firm, and Wilkes-Barre Area Career and Technical Center.
Both teams talking it over before they head back to the locker room, and Montoursville heads back to Lycoming County. There's Scott Dennis. So if you're him, and unfortunately you have been on that side of a big loss, what do you tell the team?
Short memory. We know what we did wrong. We have to now focus on getting better technique-wise, which you could see there was too many drop balls. The mental aspect of being offsides, they had that 2 times where they had 2 penalties in a row. And Coach is just going to say, okay, we have Midwest coming in next week, very beatable team, and we know we're a better team than what we showed tonight.
Yeah, it's a learning experience against a very good Montoursville team. And the Warriors, 2 games, they put up over 50 points. The offense looks unstoppable. Again, Rocco Polizzi over 200 yards. Maddox Delina over 150 yards through the air. Dylan Young over 100 yards catching, and we'll talk to them shortly. I don't know what more you can say about Montoursville. The defense, they only gave up 3 points.
And probably minimum yardage, both in the air and on the ground. And these guys, again, Coach, hats off to Coach Kiefer. It's been such a wacky season that his kids are focused, and they're coming out playing with a purpose. That you could see that they want to make a statement for this, whatever this season may hold for all these football players.
Well, we do have a season. We will try to continue week in and week out, and we cross our fingers, of course, that no one comes down with the virus. So next week we will be at Nanticoke against Crestwood. Then October 2nd, that should be Riverside at Old Forge. They are old, but they're Old Forge.
Maybe they're talking about me. I don't know.
No, they're going to be talking about me. And then the rest we'll try to get to Williamsport at Wyoming Valley West in October 9th. October 10th, we do have the Bell game secured. That is West Scranton versus Scranton, so something to look forward to on that end. So our schedule, again, is always a work in progress, depending on what happens in the community and what's happening this year as well. So keep track through our social media on Facebook, on our website, fox56.com, and, of course, on Twitter. I couldn't think of the word. I was thinking TikTok. I don't know why. We're not on TikTok.
Bob, I'm not going to do a TikTok video.
No. I'll make it. Well, we're waiting for the players.
I see Hannah's
getting them. I'll wish my son a happy birthday today. Nicholas is 14.
Wow. Happy birthday, Nick.
And my daughter's birthday was Tuesday. So busy week for us.
That is a very busy.
No, it gets busier. 20th anniversary with the wife. It was this week as well, on Wednesday.
Bob, do you have an extra job? Because that's one expensive week.
It is. We save all year just for 1 week.
How many years married now, Bob?
20.
Good for you.
And it feels like 20 trying to get these kids over here.
I'm sure. I'm sure. But no, I mean, that's just, again, a lot of patience, endurance, and credit to you and your lovely bride that you guys have done that. And your kids, your daughter's at Syracuse, correct?
Yes.
I mean, is she at Syracuse or is she doing?
No, she's at Syracuse.
Okay. And are they doing online or are they doing the virtual or a combination thereof?
Both. A little bit of both. A little bit of both. I think it's aged a year.
This is, like I said, it's crazy everywhere.
Okay, Hannah has our players of the game.
I'm here with Dylan Young. He's the player of the game tonight. Dylan, big game over Central Columbia. What went right for your team tonight?
I got to give a lot of the credit to the offensive line there. They really stepped up this game, and that's what we needed out of them.
And how do you think this win's going to help you guys for the rest of the season?
This game is a great confidence booster and a good building block, and I think we can really build off this game.
All right, Dylan, thank you so much. Bob, Jan, back to you guys.
That was Dylan Young, not Marco Polizzi, but we thank him for coming over. That will wrap it up tonight. Next week we're at Nanticoke. The final score again, 55-3, Montoursville over Central Columbia. Have a good night.